I think this is a really important piece, and it's supposed to sit like a room.
Okay.
You know, you want to take a break?
No, I just took one. Can I quickly ask you about your choice of medium? In that, you know, we've looked at War Brides painted on paper, these on canvas, and now again on paper. You know?
Yeah. You see, paper has been a very interesting experiment for me, because I kind of think that with painting, sometimes you tend to bring 1,000 years of history with you.
Yeah.
You know, traditionally, art historically, the canvas is a very sacred thing. It's a sacred space. And there's always there's almost too much respect for the surface. Now, paper, traditionally, is seen as preparatory for studies. It doesn't have the whole same conservation value. Even look at the prices of paperwork compared to, you know. But of late, of course, paper has taken a whole different, in a contemporary context. What I found was, when I worked with paper,
so for example these,
like these, they were looser, they allowed me to be free. Because I work in a very orderly and formatted way, even the way I paint. It's very much about construction, you know, and I love that. But what I would like to do is juxtapose that stillness against this kind of, you know, slightly more, almost not so anal approach to it, right? And the paper is what did it for me. That's why paper is so important in the show.
Yeah.
Because what paper did was, it really, really allowed me to push it, to retain things I liked about the way the work was going, and then to push it further, and you know, so that coming together, most obviously in the deity painting. There I think it's very, very, almost immediately you see it, because I've juxtaposed, put the canvas right next to the paper and made it into one work. But these, for the love of God, I needed this, you know, you can edit whatever lah. So basically, I haven't been painting that much in the last 1.5 years. Okay. Because I've had this job and everything as well, right? What the paper also did for me was, because it wasn't so intimidating, it allowed me to just get into it. I needed these. These are very much left over from my last series. They connect. Yeah. They connect still with this.
It's a development lah.
This is the bridge between my last work and this work. So are the brides.
So at the bottom.
You know? And at the bottom, basically, you're looking at the whole idea of the Taliban, then, you know, the whole idea of
American soldier.
And a symbol, because you see, Islam, in many ways, as far as I see it, especially to a non-Muslim, is very misunderstood. Because the message we get is very different from... So sometimes, when we think about what people are dying for, in the name of God, where Islam is concerned, because you don't really understand it,
we never see God.
It can even just be a pattern.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah.
And initially it was just the pattern, but it needed something else now. And I got feedback from Wei-Ling. Wei-Ling came and said, you know, and I thought about it. And then the whole idea of the role of man within, you know, the Taliban, within a lot of Muslim cultures, within a lot of Asian cultures, okay? And the whole idea of the man as this domineering figure.
Could you tell us who it is?
This is the last king of Afghanistan. It's King Al-Fajr, F-A-J-H-R, right? He was the last great king of Afghanistan before the revolutions and all that, right? So I just wanted to play with that whole idea of decoration, right? And then to just expose, of course, that and that. This wanting to be that, you know? The American, the Marine, of course, it's very self-explanatory, this one. The whole idea of religion is, I mean, they are cliches, but what I found is, you know, people say, oh, what a generalization. They are, of course, cliches. They are generalizations. But cliches are there because they're real. You know, they start out as, you know, people joke about it, but they become cliches because they happen so much. And I think consumerism is a major part of the whole. I remember of the Western, as of all of us, anyone who's influenced by the West is very consumer driven. I love shopping. I love things, you know. And the whole idea of the iPod as a god. Yeah. You know, and I've always looked at objects as God as well. Maybe because I'm Hindu, but the other thing is, when we were in Australia, the rice cooker became like a deity. Because it was a symbol, it was a connection to home. And I painted rice cookers for nearly a whole year, okay? Just rice cooker paintings. The monk, of course, is synonymous with a lot of my work. It started with that, the monks with the guns, to take two completely opposing things, right? And to bring them together right? And people say, how come I don't paint a sadhu, a Hindu with a machine gun? It's a good question. One is, of course, I have a personal bias. I'm Hindu. So you look at it from your point of view.
The other, yeah.
Okay. Aside from that, I don't believe in nationalism, but I think a lot of the RSS movements in India, which employ violence, but still not in the scale of other freedom movements, is very nationalist driven. It's not done in the name of God.
Okay.
So I wanted to play with that as well. But look, I'm an artist. I'm not a history painter.
Okay.
I'm not a political scientist, right? It's very gut feeling. And this actually was from the papers it leaped into this, which is a scary thing for me. Do you want to rest?